And now, a word of warning before we dive into today's lesson. The church today is obsessed with success, prosperity, popularity, influence, numbers. These are the gods we often worship rather than the God who calls us to faithfulness, obedience, and love. While there's nothing wrong with desiring fruitfulness, when it becomes our motivation for ministry, we stray from the path Spurgeon walked. Success becomes our standard, not God's. Popularity our priority, not His. We measure our value by numbers, not by holiness and devotion to Christ. This obsession with success leads to compromise, to cutting corners, to sacrificing integrity for instant results. It leads to chasing after fleeting trends instead of faithfully preaching timeless truths. It leads to burnout, to discouragement, to pastors and preachers abandoning the God who called them for the applause of people who will ultimately reject both them and their message. Please, my brothers and sisters, don't fall into this trap. Spurgeon serves as a shining example of one who remained faithful despite the pressure to conform, to compromise, and to chase after success. His life reminds us that true ministry isn't about numbers, notoriety, or recognition. It's about faithfulness to the call of God, no matter the cost. Stay focused on Jesus, stay grounded in His Word, and stay obedient to His voice. Don't compromise your integrity. Don't sacrifice your values, and don't compromise your relationship with God for the sake of success. I pray that these words resonate deeply in our hearts, urging us to remain steadfast in our commitment to God, no matter the challenges we may face. Spurgeon, who was born in 1805 in London, England, grew up amid poverty and hardship. By the age of 16, he was out of work and seeking support from his family. This is when Spurgeon's father sent him to live with relatives in the village of Little Casterton. Despite the difficult circumstances, Spurgeon found solace in nature and developed a profound connection with God during this period. He would read books borrowed from the local library, immersing himself in literature and deepening his understanding of Christianity. During his time in Little Casterton, Spurgeon experienced significant personal growth. At the age of 19, he moved back to London to attend the New Park Street Chapel, where he heard a sermon by John Angel James that profoundly impacted his life. This event marked a turning point for Spurgeon, leading him to fully dedicate his life to ministry. Though Spurgeon went on to become a renowned preacher, he never forgot the impact of James's sermon. He later said that if he could relive his life, he would attend that same service over and over again, highlighting the profound influence it had on his spiritual journey. However, while in Little Casterton, there was a dark cloud hanging over Spurgeon's life, a tormenting demon that threatened to destroy his faith and his sanity. And I'm not talking about any ordinary struggle, but a battle against an invisible enemy that pushed him to the brink of despair. What was this darkness that haunted Spurgeon's early life? How did he confront it? And what can we learn from his experience in dealing with mental health struggles? After moving back to London and dedicating himself to ministry, Spurgeon found himself ensnared by fear and worry. These negative emotions began to consume him, impacting his faith and causing him to doubt God's plan for his life. These feelings escalated into full-blown panic attacks and debilitating anxiety, which Spurgeon described as feeling like he was going to die. As these attacks intensified, Spurgeon became increasingly convinced that he was losing his faith and was at risk of damnation. These thoughts caused him immense distress, and he feared that he would never overcome this battle within his soul. Isolated and afraid to seek help, Spurgeon struggled to reconcile his faith with his inner turmoil. But eventually, with the support of his loved ones and through his own unwavering determination, he managed to conquer this dark period in his life. Through his experience, Spurgeon demonstrated resilience and faith, proving that even in the darkest moments, hope and healing are possible. Spurgeon emerged from this difficult period transformed. His experience taught him the importance of facing his fears head-on and relying on his faith in God to overcome adversity. It also deepened his empathy for others struggling with similar challenges, inspiring him to help and guide them towards recovery. This early battle with fear and anxiety was just the first of many mental health challenges Spurgeon would face throughout his life. Nevertheless, he continued to serve God, demonstrating remarkable strength and dedication, which led him to become one of the most influential preachers of his time. As you reflect on Spurgeon's life, consider the valuable lessons it holds for us today. Your story, though difficult, has purpose. Your struggles can inspire and guide others. Your pain can lead to profound empathy and compassion. And finally, your faith, though tested, can emerge stronger and more resilient. Just like Spurgeon, you have the strength within you to overcome adversity. Trust in God's plan for your life and embrace the challenges that shape your character and deepen your faith. It's not always easy, but with God by your side, you can endure anything and rise above any circumstance. With that, let's move on to the next part of this episode. In 1826, when Spurgeon was just 21 years old, he faced another great trial, losing his beloved mother, Mrs. Spurgeon. The depth of his grief was evident in a letter he wrote to a friend describing his overwhelming sorrow and struggle to comprehend her sudden death. However, amidst his despair, Spurgeon found solace in his faith, recognizing that his mother had simply gone ahead of him in their shared Christian journey. In the midst of his grief, Spurgeon drew strength from the belief that he would one day be reunited with his mother in heaven. He poured his heart out in prayer, seeking God's presence and comfort during this difficult time. Throughout his journey of grief, Spurgeon's faith served as a guiding light, helping him navigate the complexities of loss and find peace in the promise of resurrection. As he grappled with his emotions, Spurgeon continued to preach and minister to others, drawing upon his personal experiences to connect with his congregation. His sermons reflected his deep understanding of human emotion, offering comfort and guidance to those who had experienced similar trials. Despite the numerous obstacles he faced, including financial hardships, opposition from other ministers, and ongoing health issues, Spurgeon remained steadfast in his commitment to his calling. In 1827, he accepted a position as an assistant pastor at the Independent Chapel in New Park Street, London, marking the beginning of his remarkable ministry. As his career progressed, Spurgeon continued to face various challenges. In 1834, he experienced a public setback when his friend and mentor John Angel James passed away. This loss deeply affected Spurgeon, who had greatly admired James's preaching abilities and pastoral guidance. Nonetheless, Spurgeon pressed on, drawing strength from his faith and the support of his wife and congregation. It was during this time that Spurgeon faced one of his most significant trials, a controversy that threatened to derail his ministry. In 1843, he published a book titled The Sword and the Trophies, or The Baker's Dozen of Satan, which criticized the practice of ministers seeking fame and fortune, rather than solely pursuing spiritual growth. The book generated mixed reactions, with some praising Spurgeon for his honesty, while others condemned him for being overly critical. Despite the backlash, Spurgeon stood firm in his beliefs, refusing to compromise his principles for the sake of popularity. Throughout these challenges, Spurgeon's health continued to deteriorate. He suffered from gout, an agonizing form of arthritis, as well as kidney and bladder issues. These illnesses caused him immense pain and forced him to take breaks from preaching, which deeply affected his sense of duty and purpose. However, even in his moments of physical and emotional struggle, Spurgeon found solace in his faith and the unwavering support of his wife and congregation. Yet despite all these hardships, Spurgeon's ministry flourished. His sermons were widely attended, and his books became bestsellers, reaching thousands of readers worldwide. His dedication to preaching, coupled with his ability to connect with people from all walks of life, made him one of the most influential preachers of his time. Even in the face of great trials, Spurgeon's faith in God never wavered. He continued to believe in the power of prayer and the importance of living a life guided by biblical principles. His unwavering commitment to his beliefs inspired countless individuals to turn to Christianity and strengthened the faith of many who heard his sermons. As we continue this exploration of Spurgeon's life, we encounter the pivotal moment when he stepped into the pulpit of the New Park Street Chapel in London on New Year's Day, 1854. What occurred during that sermon was nothing short of miraculous. The chapel, known for its relatively small congregation, was filled to the brim. Thousands of people eager to hear Spurgeon's message crowded the space. This marked a turning point in his ministry, propelling him into the spotlight as one of England's most prominent preachers. However, the true extent of this transformation became apparent after the service. Hundreds of individuals approached Spurgeon, eager to confess their faith in Christ or profess their commitment to the Christian life. This overwhelming response left Spurgeon stunned and humbled. He realized that God had used him as a vessel for bringing people closer to faith, touching their hearts and guiding them toward spiritual renewal. Spurgeon's initial reaction to this experience was one of awe and gratitude. He praised God for the incredible impact he had made on the lives of so many people. He saw this moment not as a celebration of his own abilities, but as an opportunity to reflect on God's divine favor and blessings upon him. In the aftermath of this transformative service, Spurgeon's life underwent a significant shift. His ministry expanded rapidly, attracting large crowds from across London and beyond. His sermons became renowned for their power and ability to touch the hearts of listeners,